Today we're going to install the Bodyguard A2 series rear bumper on this 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 new body style. Now this is going to be the same install for the Chevy Silverado. Also, I'm going to start off for the sake of this video with no bumper installed at all. If you want to see how the rear bumper from the factory is removed, we do have a how to remove your factory rear bumper for this truck. Feel free to check that out. Now let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so when we took off the factory bumper, there was this attached to that bumper right behind the license plate. We've got a couple of modules in here that need to transport over to the new bumper, but they're not actually going to attach to the bumper. So what we're going to do is we're going to snap them out of this bracket. The way that works is we got a little pin over here. We push in, and this module will pull right out of the bracket on this side. Let's set that to the side. And then this module, we're going to pull these two pieces apart. And this is going to snap right out, and we're going to hold on to that module. We can go ahead and discard this bracket. Okay, here's our new bracket that's going to mount to our factory location using the factory hardware. Before we mount that in though, what we're going to do is we're going to take this module. We've got a hook on one end and a clip on the other. We've got a slot here for the hook to hook into. Once that hooks in, we can rotate this up, and that will click into place up top. Next, we have this module, and this is oriented to where the opening faces down. We're going to line it up to the holes and then just use the included hardware to fasten it to the bracket. All right, we're just going to snug up that hardware with a 4mm Allen wrench. And we're going to use our factory hardware to mount it to the factory location. And tighten that down with 15mm. All right, now this harness we can go ahead and reattach. We're going to line that up. The small harness just snaps into the module, and just like so. Okay, so this is our new bracket. What we're going to do is we're going to take a supplied bolt with lock washer. We're going to fit that through in these two holes here. Now this is going to be oriented where these holes for the passenger side are going to be all the way to the outside. This right here is going to end up right in front of the frame horn. And we're going to line these up to these factory holes and go through. Now from the other side, we're going to do a flat washer with serrated flange nut on each of those bolts. All right, now before we tighten that down, you want to line this up. Make sure this outside edge is even with the outside edge on the frame horn, and this top edge is even with the top edge up here. Get it nice and square. And we're going to tighten this down with 3/4 inch tools. Repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, I've already gone ahead and assembled all the components to this bumper that come with the bumper. All your tread plates and all your face plates will typically come with just 2 bolts holding that in place. That's because they're all designed to be able to pull off, coat, or color to whatever you want to do, and then reinstall them. Just when you're reinstalling them, make sure you line up all of your bolts before you tighten any of them down. That way it doesn't put any kind of bind on there. Everything goes on properly. You'll be using an 11mm to hold the nut on the back side and a 4mm Allen wrench to tighten down the bolts. Also, it comes with provisions for your choice of LED lights that are flush mount. So I picked a couple and installed them into this bumper. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip this bumper around and show you how to put in all the components that came out of the factory bumper into this bumper. Okay, next I want to show you how to assemble this side together. The other side installs the exact same way. This is the module that came out right behind the bumper step pad. This is an option, so if your truck didn't have it, you can skip this step. But if you flip that around, we're going to see a little bolt that's holding this module in place. It's a 7mm that we're going to pull out. So once that 7mm head bolt comes out, that module just pops right out of place. And then we can take and turn it back to the same orientation that it was lined up to before. We're going to insert that module into the provided bracket. Now make sure this bracket is oriented properly. We need to have the small hole on this side and then the 2 tabs on this side where the module comes in. This needs to be faced to the center of the bumper. All right, now that we've got this in place, I'm going to turn back to the factory bracket and get this factory clip nut. Just take a pair of pliers, squeeze that together, and force it through the other side. Now I'm going to take this and hold it to the back side of this housing and then fit the factory bolt through and then snug it up with a 7mm. I'm going to hold that still with the pair of pliers while I snug it up. Doesn't have to be super tight, just snug. All right, if you had factory sensors, go ahead and reinstall the sensor housings that go in from the front, and they just snap right into place. Okay, now from your factory harness, we're going to remove the tag light. Basically, you just twist and pull the bulb out, set the harness to the side. What we're going to see is this tag light's going to fit perfectly right up into the bumper. We've got a little slot cut out in the top of the bumper that tag light goes up into, and it lines this hole up with this bracket here. So before we can line that up and snap that in place, we're going to have some fasteners that are a little square fastener, looks just like that. It's going to snap right into that location. All right, go ahead and line the tag light up to the slot, rotate that in place, and then take one of your black supplied bolts, go into that fastener, and once that's threaded in, go ahead and tighten it down. You're going to use an 8mm. All right, just get it where it's nice and connected. Don't try to over tighten it. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take the factory trailer receptacle and push that right through the front. And that'll snap into place. Spare tire tube goes in the front, same way it came out of the factory bumper. Make sure it's angled in, pointing towards the center of the truck. All right, so now I've gone ahead and oriented the factory harness. Now the way I did that is I've got part of it coming through the bracket. So I've got the harness end that goes to the module and also one reverse sensor. On the opposite side, I've got the other reverse sensor and the tag light. Then over here to the passenger side, the main harness end that plugs into the truck needs to be on this side. If it's on the opposite side, you got it backwards, you need to flip it around. Then I've got the rest of the harness going behind this bracket, and the other side, I wire it the exact same way, just flip around. All right, now we're going to go ahead and install the bumper to the truck. Now, what we're going to have is 4 bolts per side that are going to line up to the 4 holes in the bracket. Let me show you the way the hardware works. We've got a stainless steel bolt with stainless steel flat washer. Now, I've already gone ahead and put some anti-seize on there because the hardware we're locking it to is not stainless steel. I don't want to have any dissimilar metal corrosion happening. Each bolt is going to go through the bumper, and on the back side, once it goes through, we're going to have a yellow zinc-coated flat washer along with a serrated flange nut on the opposite side. The way I'm going to line this up first is I'm going to start the top 2 bolts on the inside and get them fastened from the back side. That way they can let go of it and I can line up the rest of the hardware. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and lower the tailgate. That way I can adjust the bumper and line it up and tighten it down. With the tailgate down, lining up the bumper, you don't have to worry about the bumper being aligned too high and the tailgate coming down and hitting the bumper. All right, now I've got everything adjusted where I want it, and I'm going to go ahead and lock down all the hardware using 3/4 inch tools. All right, now I can go back up underneath and hook up my reverse sensors, reattach my harness to my module on both sides, my tag lights, and also the trailer receptacle. All right, now this is your factory exhaust tip with a factory dual exhaust. Now I've went ahead and bent this bracket backwards so it fits up in place. These are the clip nuts that were installed from the factory. This is the factory hardware that went into there. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this over top of the factory exhaust pipe and rotate it up to the bumper. Use the factory hardware, go through the clip nuts and tighten them down with a 10mm. And repeat for the opposite side. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.